It's been 3 years since DS pulled its stylish and sophisticated DS4 hatchback from sale because, well, nobody bought it. But the Citroen offshoot has granted the hatch a reprieve for 2021, reviving the DS4 name as a luxurious hatchback-come-crossover that'll go up against an array of rivals ranging from the Audi A3 to the BMW X2 SUV. Now, the DS4 gets an all-new look for 2021 that mixes in the silhouette of a hatchback with the slightly raised ride height of a mid-size crossover. But this isn't just a glammed-up C4 like the old car was. It's built on the same architecture as the DS7, though DS claims that 70% of the platform itself has been altered specifically for the new hatch. We'll see the new DS4 in showrooms later this year, but to tide you over until the car's release, we've put together a list of 5 things you need to know about the all-new DS4. But before I get into the list, remember to hit the like button and subscribe! DS does a very good job of making mundane cars look glamorous. Just look at the DS7. It costs a little over £32,000, but on the outside at least, it looks far more expensive than its price tag suggests. I mean, it's even the car of choice for the President of France, Emmanuel Macron. The DS4, however, arguably raises the bar even higher. For instance, the front end looks similar to that of the DS9 Saloon, only with bold LED daytime running lights that form an L shape below the main headlights. The rest of the car is entirely new, with elegant creases down the sides of the car contrasting with bulky optional 20-inch wheels. The back end, meanwhile, gets ultra-thin LED lights and squared-off exhausts. More on that a bit later. The roofline also slopes downwards towards the rear of the sleeker silhouette, but it does result in what appears to be a very thin rear window. If the urban looks of the standard DS4 aren't quite to your taste, then the Citroen sub-brand has you covered. Called the DS4 Cross, the crossover-inspired trim gets matte black cladding around the skirts plus the base of the front and rear bumpers, with the latter getting a metal skid plate. You also get roof rails, gloss black window frames and grille, as well as an exclusive set of wheels. While there's no word on whether you get a bit more ground clearance, DS will happily sell you its advanced traction control upgrade, which gives you more grip on sand, mud and snow, and comes bundled in with hill descent control, so you can go soft-roading. At the other end of the spectrum is the performance line, which swaps out most of the chrome trim for gloss black panels, and you also get a set of black wheels and a sportier interior. One of the many reasons why car makers choose to base their electric cars on crossovers is because the added ride height allows them to easily disguise the chunky battery unit that sits below the cabin. So with French car makers being some of the world's biggest EV advocates, it seems a little strange that the DS4 won't be available in pure electric form. At launch, you'll get a mix of 3 and 4 cylinder engines to choose from, comprising of a 3-cylinder 1.2 litre petrol engine available in either 128, 178 and 222 brake horsepower form, as well as a 1.5 litre 4-cylinder diesel churning out 128 brake horsepower. So while the DS4 still has a thing for dinosaur juice, the company will offer a plug-in hybrid variant from the get-go. This model gets a 1.6 litre petrol engine that's hooked up to an electric motor for a combined power output of 222 brake horsepower. You'll be able to drive on electric energy alone for up to 31 miles, while all models, including the hybrid, get silky smooth 8-speed automatic gearboxes. So sure, the DS4 won't be breaking any speed records, but the company always prioritises comfort over performance, and that's by no means a bad thing. Whether you love it or loathe it, there's no denying that DS interiors look like nothing else. And the DS4 is no exception, with leather covering pretty much every surface and a metal bar incorporating the climate controls running along the width of the dashboard. It's also less complicated than the cabins on the DS7 and DS3 crossback, adopting a more streamlined look with less buttons. Now, for better or for worse, the DS4's cabin now features more touch controls. Sigh. Not only is there a large touchscreen in the centre of the dash, powered by the company's latest infotainment software, there's also a touchpad controller in the centre console complete with funky graphics. We'll reserve judgment until we get behind the wheel, but the touchpad seems a tad unnecessary and pretty complicated. On a lighter note, the company now offers an augmented reality feature as part of its extended head-up display. Rather than display data on the windscreen, the system projects information onto the road 4 meters ahead of the driver across a 21-inch window. Now that's something I can't wait to see in action. The DS4 looks incredible and is a far cry from the old model. The good news is DS cars look expensive, but they won't burn a hole in your pocket. We're expecting prices to start around the £25,000 to £29,000 mark when sales open later this year. But in the meantime, head over to yesauto.com for all the latest car news and reviews.